Hey guys, what's up? What's going on? Welcome back to another video. If you're new to this channel, then you probably don't follow me on Instagram. But if you do follow me on Instagram, then you probably know that I've been posting a lot of pictures lately. I really love photography, so what I thought I'd do today is show you guys my editing process to get really good Instagram photos or really good photos. Before jumping into this video, I will say 3 things. 1, I use Lightroom and Photoshop to edit my photos. You don't really need Photoshop to edit the typical Instagram photo unless you're doing something like I did in this photo right here, where I spent probably good half an hour on this photo just editing it, and that I did all in Photoshop. I don't think I did anything in Lightroom except for change the white balance. This is going to be like a super easy photo editing tutorial. If you are already a good photographer, this will help. If you're just like a really amateur photographer, this will help as well. Even if you're not like a photographer, if you shoot your pictures on your iPhone and you're just looking for a way to edit your photos to make them look really good for Instagram, this is gonna be perfect. So basically, I'm just gonna be running you through my color grading process. So, as I mentioned earlier, I shoot all my stuff. Okay, I don't shoot my stuff. I edit all my stuff in Lightroom and Photoshop, which I got for school. So it comes with a package that's about $9 a month. Not that bad. If you're already a professional photographer, you need this, and I don't know why you don't have it. If you don't have it, you probably do if you're a pro photographer. If you're just getting into photography or you would like to be a professional photographer, get this now. It is a great investment. You can do anything from edit photos to turn them from this to this, or turn them from this into this. And this is, I'm just scratching the surface. There is so much you can do. However, if you're just, as I said, someone that's shooting your pictures for Instagram, then you can just download the Lightroom app on your phone, which is free, and from what I've experienced, it's basically just as good as the Lightroom on your computer. However, the Lightroom on your computer is faster to use, but it might actually be easier for you to use the one on your phone if you're just shooting your pictures for Instagram anyways. But without any further ado, let's just jump into this. Okay, so the first thing that I do when I edit my photos is I like to change the white balance. So as you can see right here, that this is the before and after. This is the after, and you can see that it's a lot brighter, the color's a lot more vivid. And in this photo, before, it's like super yellow, and it's just not very cool. So I'll show you what I like to do. I usually start by changing the exposure, just because that does help with the brightness. As you can already see, the milk and the bed sheets in the background, and even the wall is getting a little lighter, but the wall is still super yellow. So what you do is you go over to the white balance and you go under custom, and then you select the little eyedropper tool, and then what you do is you select the color that you would like to become the new white color. And then what you'll see happening is the whites will shift, and it'll basically just readjust your white balance for you, and you can see that already has made such a huge difference in the overall quality of the photo. Okay, so now let's go jump over to this photo here. Okay, so I've already changed the white balance, as you can see in this one. So something like this, I'm gonna bring up the exposure just because I really like to draw up the exposure, because I really do find that, especially for pictures on Instagram, it's always nice to have a nice bright photo. Usually I try and downgrade the contrast just because it gives it more of a faded film effect. For this one, I'm actually going to drag it up just so we can see more contrast between the blues and the reds. And I mean, with all these different sliders, you can play around with things like the highlights and the shadows and the whites and blacks, and just see what kind of effect it has on your photo. But for me, I'm just going to change a couple things, not really doing that much. I'm going to change the vibrance a little bit. Maybe add a little bit of saturation, and leave all those at 0 actually for now. Then I'm going to go into the tone curve, and so this is basically just changing your highlights and your shadows. It's a different method from what we did before, so you could basically just leave that. If you know what you're doing, then feel free to play around with it, but I'm just going to leave that be for now. So here's what I'm really focused on is if you zoom in here, you can see the colors of the strawberries and the blueberries, and that's kind of what I want to draw out in this photo a little bit more. And I'm going to go into the red, so this is going to affect the strawberries. So I'm going to zoom in here, and I'm actually just going to change the color of the reds until I see it infringing over the little bits of white on the strawberry. So that's too much, that's too little. And then I'm going to jump down and turn it down a little bit, so that's, yeah, it's pretty good right there, I think. Okay, so then the greens we can basically just leave by themselves because there isn't really any greens in this picture too much. So then I'm going to jump over to the blues and just play around with the hue, and then change the saturation a bit just to draw out more of the color. Then we're good. And I think that's really cool. So that's a really good base edit for that one, and you can see the before and after, and this one just has a little bit more life. The milk is really drawn out, the background is kind of, it's still blurry, but it's pretty nice. Also, the blueberries and the strawberries are good, and the nice thing is the muffin isn't too blown out, because that can sometimes happen. I'm just going to change that a little bit. Just watch, for instance, if you're not changing colors of things you don't want to when you're editing your photos. Okay, so the last step of this process isn't essential. So you don't really need to do this, but if you want to give your photo a specific style, then you can do this. I am going to be playing around with LUTs. So I'm going to drag and drop my 2 files in here into Premiere Pro. Now, as I said, this is just what I'm using. You can still do all of this in Lightroom, but I'm just using it in here because I find it a little easier, but that's all personal preference. So again, we could play around with things like the exposure, the contrast, all these different sliders, but we've already done all this earlier in Lightroom, so there really isn't any need. So we're just gonna jump over to the Creative tab. Premiere Pro has already provided us with like a bunch of really cool LUTs. One of my favorites is actually this one right here. I really like this one because it adds a really nice faded film. But the one we're using for this photo is actually like a LUT I made. So you can make LUTs and presets in Photoshop and Lightroom. The one that I'm going to use today is this one here. Obviously that's a little bit too intense, but the reason I like this one is because it really brings out the blue tones and I think it just looks kind of cinematic. But I'm going to tone down the intensity, and then what I like to do with this is bring it down too far so you don't see it much, and then slowly bring it up until you get it to a spot you're comfortable with. And then yeah, I think that looks about good. And usually you have to play around with things like the scale, because obviously when you import a photo to Premiere Pro, it's going to be overscaled. But for this one, it for some reason is fitting well at 100, which doesn't really make much sense to me, but you know, I'll take it. Now I'm going to add a faded film effect. So I really like this. You can actually achieve the same effect as with faded film as you can if you just take the contrast down all the way. So you can add the same faded film effect in something like Lightroom, but I like to do it right in here just because then I've already applied my LUT, so I can just see how it looks with the LUT, which by the way, if you don't know what that is, it's a color lookup table. So it's kind of like a filter, but it kind of affects the photo and works with it in a way that a filter doesn't. Okay, so I'm going to do the same thing for this photo. I'm going to add the LUT, and then I'm going to work my way back up. Then I'm going to add that faded film effect. And then I'm also going to bring down the contrast, and then I think that looks pretty good right there. So I'm just going to export those two. There you guys go. If you did enjoy this video, then make sure to give it a big thumbs up. Let me know which one of these photos was your favorite, and if you have any kind of style of photo that you want me to try and give a tutorial on how to color grade or edit it, whether it's one of the photos I've taken or if it's a photo someone else has taken, make sure to let me know, leave a comment. If you guys seem to like it, I'll do a tutorial on how I did this photo. One of these photos you can choose. I spent a while on these in Photoshop, so I'm pretty happy with them. If you guys want me to show you how I did that, then I will make another video like this on that. Yeah, so make sure to subscribe, give this video a big thumbs up, check out the links in the description down below, and yeah, I'll see you guys next week. Peace.